It's August 25th, 2013, and you're watching Mods on Air.
2 FPS, 3 RPGs, and 5 sim-type games.
Yeah.
I think you'd be able to come up with one here.
I'm actually pulling this one hard.
Ask all the people that need hacks to play Call of Duty. I can hear you groaning inwardly every time Sin's mentioned. You're just cringing.
All right, everyone. This is episode 391 of Mods on Air. We're bringing you the week in gaming news as modders, developers, and gamers ourselves. I am Foyleman, and also on the show today we have with us Breesy. Hello, Breesy.
Hello.
Hello. We also have Ham with us. Hello, Ham.
Hey.
Hey, Stryder's with us. Hello, Stryder.
Hello, everybody.
And bringing in as anchorman, we have Welshy. Hey, Welshy.
Hello.
So, before we begin, let me remind you all that this show is recorded before a live audience, and if we screw up, we'll do so royally, and probably a lot of adult themes and language will follow, so be warned.
But if Twitch screws up, you won't hear any of it.
You won't hear a damn
It's still
thing.
going to be the adult language and themes. You're just not going to hear any of it.
And on a side note, if you would like to see this show live, join us in Seattle.
Don't
Yeah.
make that promise to people.
No, we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll
Well,
be in
I'd
Seattle.
see. I'd
there will not be a
really
live
like
show.
to do. Yeah, I'd really like to do something on like a live show on the floor or something. The thing is, it's going to be noisy as hell.
Well, and the problem is that the internet there is awesome.
That too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I am remembering to bring these very expensive and needed USB sticks that Stryder purchased last year
Yes.
to copy all the video and transfer back to you.
But yeah. So that said, we're going to be here next week.
Anybody need
Yeah.
passes? Want to purchase passes? I've got a couple.
You got a
And
plane ticket, I'll have one.
I couldn't sell them.
really,
Well,
I had no problem selling my extras.
eBay was being a little bitch, so I couldn't do a thing about it.
Bitch. I could probably sell them off up there. Either that, or we'll let the girlfriends and wives go.
Oh,
I don't
they'll go to the show too then. I'm kidding.
God damn.
Yes. Okay. Anyways, so as
Or
you know,
Ham
PAX.
may come.
Or-
He's supposed to be arriving there, but
Hey, maybe he'll still show
I
up.
looked into my finances, and I've got less than half a grand to my name at this point. So I've got to
Oh,
get
so
a
do
job.
I. So
There's
do I.
lots-
I got a job.
yeah, there's lots of people that have less than that go to PAX all the time, and it
And I feel
shows
for those people.
It shows.
Um,
Really do, yeah.
But yeah, so that said, we're not going to be here broadcasting live on Twitch next week because we are going to be in Seattle at PAX Prime.
Yep, and the internet sucks so bad that we can't broadcast live. We tried.
We tried
Unless
that.
something amazing has happened that I'm unaware of. I mean, actually, you know what? This time, both Stryder and I will have hotel rooms near the conference. So I don't know if that is an advantage or not because we'll have hotel
Well, so do I.
internet.
Yeah, so does
Yep.
Welshy. Welshy has a half-hour walk from the convention center to the cardboard box that he has from a bum.
Yeah. It's got great outdoor views, balcony.
Chateau de Frigidaire.
Yeah.
Casa de Cuisinart.
All right. Getting to some of the topics that we have to discuss today. We have
Yes, let us do that.
we have console news, obviously, because we are going to be inundated with console news in the coming week. I mean, it is going to be shoved and rammed down our throat. We are going to be so jammed up with console news. It's going to be sick.
The thing is I think this was orchestrated by the software giants because your operating systems are they're actually beyond flat. They're underground. They are so sucky that they're below talking about. So you end up with nothing to talk about but consoles because you've got Apple with their latest release of the OS X that Mac owners are panning. You've got Microsoft with Windows 8. So you've got nothing that who would want to develop for a computer these days?
I
When
would.
anyways, yes, we will have lots of console news for the next year because there's nothing capable.
Right.
Welshy, you
Well,
look confused.
both PlayStation.
No, it's 9 a.m. and my apartment faces the sun. It's hot and bright in here.
So he is confused.
Yeah.
Damn you, ball of burning gas!
So Sony is announcing that their launch lineup for the PS4. Even got a little video to go with it, with some noisy music. And Xbox is going to be doing the same thing. Now, what we know about PlayStation is that it's supposed to be released on November 29th. Isn't that... Yeah, you know what? Wait. And November 15th in the US and Canada, November 29th in Europe. Okay, that makes more sense.
Why? Why do
I don't know why they always have to do that.
What? Yeah, does it take 2 weeks longer for the shit to
Boxes
get from China to the UK than China to the United States and Canada?
That just makes zero sense.
Yeah, I've tried to get answers to the reasoning behind that, because it's the same with movies, it's the same with games, and it's the same with virtually
in the UK,
everything.
you guys are like a decade behind on movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah, like I've tried to get answers, and I always get I either get no response, or I just get something about, oh, it's licensing.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
what does that even mean?
Well, it's licensing. No, I don't know. Tell me.
And then I was like, we can't go into it.
Yes, you can. You choose not to.
Yeah,
You know it's
I swear it's like some sort of secret deals that go on.
Well, what does that mean for you now in Canada? Does that mean, what date do you get?
Well, the same as the US and
Tuesday,
Canada.
That's what I thought.
Same as
Oh, it says US and Canada. Okay.
that. Just throwing it out there, but that's probably what that means.
So what does Mexico get?
Beans.
Mexicans can't afford these things. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they can.
Hey, Mexico has some of the richest people in the world. Oddly enough.
All those drug barons, they'll buy like 70,000 of them.
And they'll rip out the guts and stuff drugs inside.
Are we still talking about
Ship them
consoles?
to Europe.
That's what takes the extra 2 weeks.
And well, Xbox is also trying to do the same thing. They're both saying, "Hey, look at us. Who's got the better lineup?" And
I was
And it seems-
looking at the Xbox lineup. It's 20. The ones on that list, it says 23 games. 13 of those games are titles that have already been released, or
Okay.
like titles that we've already seen. They're
Really?
not new IPs. Yeah. So
Wow.
over half of them have a number
Just
at the end.
version. Or are they just versions of games that they're releasing soon, but they're just going to put them on the new console?
There's that. I didn't
guess
even
not.
count that, but I bet they are.
Because I suspect there's going to be a lot of that going on, where it's like, yeah, here's the lineup, and you can look, and there'll be like 20 of them that are just. Wait,
Well,
didn't there's
Battlefield's
you know?
on there, wasn't it?
Zoo
So-
Tycoon, a phone game.
Yes.
yeah, I'm not excited for either of these entertainment systems.
Yeah. Either. I've
So neither is
They've-
going to get my $400 to $600.
No.
Lococycle? Is that a steam-powered motorcycle? Lococycle? I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff together there, but that's what it would. That was what popped up. Power Star Golf. Couldn't even get
Is
Tiger
this-
Woods' title. Get
Is
Power
the
Star.
PlayStation 4 release date before or after the Call of Duty? That's after, isn't it?
After or round about the same time, and it's going to be.
yeah, it's
I was
probably
interesting.
about a week or so.
But Call of Duty's coming to all of them, innit? As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I just,
It'll be on Xbox first.
November 15th. Wait, will be that's not Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I get for trying to quick read titles. Just says November is all I can see. I can't see an exact date.
Yeah, Microsoft hasn't said exactly when the Xbox One is going to be released.
No.
I think they've gone as far as to say holiday season or something.
I don't think they've finished backtracking on all of the things that they said you couldn't do with it, and the PR nightmare they've created for themselves. So they have a little bit further to go back before they can say, all right, now we're going to release it because we've made sure that we've not shot ourselves in the...
Now, one thing they have is gone as far as to say, as far as release dates with the Xbox One, is that it won't be released in a certain few European countries until 2014.
Like Russia.
Probably Russia. I don't know if they've listed all the countries.
I wonder if that's because is it particular countries that don't have any kind of stringent copyright laws? Therefore, by that point, they've reinstated everything that they were like, you can't play used games, and you can't. So by 2014, that will all be in place, and then now we can put it in the places that don't have copyright laws.
They probably.
I don't know if it's that or that they're still trying to integrate that 100% connectability,
TV and internet, and
deals.
If that's not there, or the infrastructure for that type of a networking, then I think that's probably more to do with it than the copyright.
But you are going to see a lot more promotion coming up regarding the Kinect, and it'll probably overshadow the Xbox One in general.
Probably so. Let us sell you on this idea that you don't like.
Or need, unless you're developing.
Yeah.
They have this thing, Project Spark, which they're promoting as part of one of the Kinect games. And as soon as I saw this, the first thing I thought of was Milo. Do you remember Milo from the first Kinect?
Oh, the creepy child that got the group.
Peter Monolith.
I remember that. Yeah.
The one they promoted and never released.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pedophiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
I still don't understand why this is coming with the Kinect. I just don't...
This Project Spark stuff?
No, just the Xbox One in general.
Oh.
The Kinect never did well on the Xbox. I don't know why they thought, it's a good idea to have this.
Because they're forcing it. That's the big thing. They've got all these Kinects that they have to put out there now because they've already made them. I believe that is their marketing strategy. Is they're trying to force people to buy something that they don't need or want, and they're still trying to hit upon the method in which to do it. They tried everything. They tried exercise. They tried like Star Wars. They tried emulations, and it's not anything that they want. That the consumer doesn't want it. So, in other words, until the marketing can catch up and somehow twist it so that they create a scenario where the consumer base wants it, even though they don't need it, but they want it because they've been told they want it, and they're buying into it. But up until now, it's just it's another gimmick. It's like the Wii with the motion controllers and all of that. It was gimmicky.
I mean, but
it was not practical, yet gimmicky.
When you look at the Wii and you look at some of Nintendo's first-party titles, there's some things they got like absolutely right. As far as the Wii Sports and maybe the Super Mario games, those things are great to play and they're a lot of fun on Wii. But then you go to something like the Kinect, where even the first-party titles, they just suck. They're not great experiences, and it's a pain to use. And I'm not sure if Microsoft gives developers a kickback for using this unnecessary equipment, but it just seems like even when developers try to integrate it, it becomes easier to just not use it because it's so sucky. The experience is just not there, and I think it's fundamentally flawed. It is. Nobody wants to use this. It would have been better off just as a microphone, maybe to get some audio recognition or something like that. And even then, that's sort of a trying case.
It is fantastic technology, though.
It is
the capability to do, like, as far as a dev goes, to utilize it as motion capture for very cheap compared to what do you call that, with the not node mapping, but when you put all the sensors on the different areas and just record the sensor positions. I can't remember it. Anyways, but to do motion control or to motion capture and stuff like that for devs, it's great. However, it is not something that is incorporatable to games easily. Really, you don't need, like, what do you need to jump around? Most people playing these games, they want to do it so that they're just unwinding and not jumping around, and not like, unless you're a 7-year-old or a 6-year-old that's like whacked on a sugar high, that's got that much energy to like, can you imagine if you had to everything you did had to be motion cap or had to be done through the Kinect for playing Battlefield or Call of Duty or anything like that? Holy crap! The gaming sessions would be like 15 minutes long, and then all these fat North American kids would be dying of cardiac arrest.
At least in that point, though, it'll be easy to win for like thin people. Just run around for 20 minutes, wait for everyone to just drop dead. Yeah, all right, I win. Didn't even have to fire a shot.
That's hacking at it.
And all these thin kids turning sideways and hiding behind trees, and the fat kids, their bellies are sticking out and getting. That's not fair. Well, fucking lose some weight, chubby. I don't know.
That would be funny shit to watch if it was in a Team Fortress style art. That would be awesome.
It's not a good experience. They'd be better off trying to emulate the PlayStation Move, where at least you've got some buttons, some actual buttons on the controller, and even that is sort of weird. But at least you've got something to press. Whereas there's no sort of tactile feedback with the Kinect, and it's just sort of, it's really waving your arms around in the air, expecting or hoping.
Like you just don't care.
Like you just don't care. but you're expecting the avatar on screen to sort of emulate you, and it's never a good experience. It's better used as maybe some motion capture equipment, or just some other sort of use, but not in games.
Oh, well, that's Microsoft jumping the gun. They jumped it a little bit with the Kinect because software, the games, they are not ready for it, and now they're doing it again with an entertainment system instead of a game console.
Yeah,
because that makes it different.
Mm-hmm.
That, and you know, the funny thing is this now coming to fruition, or coming to a head. I don't know if you guys remember, about a year and a half ago, we talked about Microsoft patenting the system for the Kinect to count the number of people in a room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had rented a movie, you had to pay for.
Ouch.
And so if it sensed too many people, it would shut it off and say, you know what, you've only paid for 2 people to watch this movie, and we see 4 people in here. And with this always-on requirement that Microsoft is trying to push, it all kind of comes together. Where this is more with, and it's not a gaming console; it's an entertainment console. So you've paid for 2 people to watch this movie, and we see 3 people. Sorry,
and also,
no movie for you.
If it's constantly on, so it's constantly monitoring the amount of people in the room. Do you have to pause it? Or does it pause when you want to get up and go for a piss? Because now you've only got one less person.
It might. I know I read articles about how it would maybe pause certain things if you were looking away from the screen.
Oh fuck! That would get right
like
on
seriously,
my nerves.
and that's not me just sort of making that up. That's like actual quote paraphrasing.
There'll be hours of movies that will never be watched because people will just be like, "This is the shittest thing ever." They'll just pause every time.
Why won't this end?
Didn't they make a phone that does that too? An Android phone? I think so.
If you look away, it does something.
Yeah. No, well, if you look away, it stops doing what it's doing.
If it does that for your games, I'm screwed because I'm always looking out the window that's over there every single time.
Yeah. So am I. I look out and there's a hostel out there. It's crack addict theater out there. And
now, what I suspect is going to happen is that we're going to see a wave of games that sort of have useless, absolutely like sort of useless Kinect features. People are going to get irritated about that, and then sort of the next wave of games are going to have sort of optional Kinect features, and people aren't going to use it. And then eventually, they're just not going to have any sort of Kinect features at all. You're going to have that sort of every now and then you've got one game that sort of makes use of Kinect. It's probably sort of centered around the Kinect experience. But
Dance,
I think,
revolution kind of shit.
I think it's going to be not too long before you see where no developers really using any features of it, just because people don't want it. And now Microsoft can't say, well, people didn't go out and buy it or anything like that. It's like it comes with every console. People just choose not to use it.
If it does pause every time you look away, I'm going to invent some glasses with a face on that you put on your head that just faces forward, but you can turn your head.
Kickstarter.
Get a big bobblehead.
It's going on now. It's just
a big bobblehead.
Yeah,
it's going to end up like, is it Batman Forever with Jim Carrey? With the beam, and you can't move. You're not allowed to move your head even slightly, because if you do, the TV will go off.
That's their dream. They watched that movie. That was what Ballmer did. He watched the movie and he's like, hey, a box in every room of every house. I could do that.
Well, there's other stuff going on at Microsoft too. Right now they decided that I'd say they decided that Steve Ballmer needs to retire. Please retire.
Time for him to go.
He's been the face of Microsoft for quite a long time.
And an ugly face at that.
And he's been the ass at Microsoft as well for quite some time too.
But if it depends on who you talk to, depending on what their what their opinion is of what Ballmer is. You know, a lot of them are saying that there is an old generation of people in Microsoft, and they need to clean house and get the new generation going, because they can't. The older generation just can't transition to what they want to become.
The new generation
wants to become Apple.
Windows 8. I'm not so sure. I feel as if Microsoft they have no idea what direction they're going in. The Windows 8 sort of was supposed to kickstart the company into one direction, unified everything, but it's a bad direction to go in. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's great that you all are now sort of trying to make everything cohesive, but it's still crappy. Like it's not any better if the cohesive direction you go in is sort of universally panned.
Mm-hmm.
And
we have embarked on a new strategy with a new organization, and we have an amazing senior leadership team. My original thoughts on timing would have had my retirement happen in the middle of our company's transformation to a devices and services company. We need a CEO who would be here longer for this new direction.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So
we've finally realized that this guy has panned our company and the direction that it is going in, and we are gone down a road that there is no return from, and we need someone that's going to try and turn the wheel on this Titanic before it crashes into that iceberg that is right in front of us.
Like I read this news and I just thought to myself, like, Microsoft is such a mess of a company right now.
Kind of feels it, yeah.
It really does. Everything is just half baked. Like every sort of feature is an anti-feature. It's sad, really.
Mm-hmm. Because they have such great potential.
Yeah,
that's why it's sad.
Yeah. And
it's not like you're looking at Linux and you're thinking, you know what, at least it does something, and otherwise I don't care. No, this is something you care about because it's ingrained in your life.
Yeah.
And you want it to be good. You don't want it to be this frustrating thing you have to deal with all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like technology. They're developing technologies for the sake of developing technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than trying to make things better and more intuitive. It's just kind of like, all right, let's put this stupid box on the, take away the start button and we'll put like this. It'll be this box and you can touch it, and nobody at any point went, what if people don't want to touch the screen? Nah, everybody wants to touch the screen.
Yeah.
What if
That's
they
the
don't want
worst
to touch
part.
the screen? Let's call them surfaces. Everybody wants to touch the surface.
Like, what I don't get is touchscreens you usually see in retail stores, and no one ever looks happy when they're using them.
Yeah, they're like, why won't this thing work?
They're the most miserable people in the world.
It's like, I can't get the fucking tilt to work. Hang on. It's just, the worst part about it is there has to have been a meeting where at least more than a few people agreed that this was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Like,
all it takes is Steve Ballmer to say this is the way it's going.
Well, possibly, but I just imagine there had to be at least 2 or 3 people going, yeah, that could work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't understand, because you've got these engineers that are at Microsoft, and I'm sure they're developing Windows 8 on Windows 7 hardware, or they're using that in sort of environment to develop Windows 8 before Windows 8 came out, and there's no way they could have said to themselves, like, this is a great successor, like this provides even more options than than Windows 7.
They very well could have. I believe that they have become so detached from the consumer base that rather than, they're trying to say this is what people want because we're going to tell them this is what they want, rather than saying, hey, you know what, Vista tanked. We got it right with Windows 7 to a certain degree, and everybody's happy with that. Let's stick with that. No, we're going to instantly turn out something that's going to fuck everything up again, and even further disintegrate our consumer base, because that's what we're going to tell them they want to do. And I believe that they are that detached from their consumer base, and be it on a personal level, or be it on business level, or server admin level, it's just they are in their own little world. And they're trying to be a leader, and you nailed it. They're trying to develop stuff that doesn't need developing just to say that they've developed it, because they want to be the next iPhone. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? That boat sailed.
Just reminds me of that Family Guy episode with is it Lois's dad with Bill Gates? Hey, could you help me program my Zoom? What? Really? No, it's an iPhone.
I wonder how many computers inside of Microsoft run Windows 8.
That's
I'd like to take a walk through there.
Probably all of them, because they can't get rid of the damn things.
Yeah.
They're all still using Windows 2000.
Windows 98. Those were the glory days. Glory days.
Well, you know what? I'm going to make a statement here. Mobile is the future, is what has been written in text by Hodge, Jono, probably Jono backwards. So Jono has said mobile is the future. Mobile is the future because it is being forced in that direction. Nobody wanted it to be the future. Mobile and desktop were separate, and they were separate for a reason, and they're all being amalgamated into one because of the corporation laziness. It's not useful for mobile to be the future. You still need some sort of PC, some sort of desktop. You can't do your business off of a phone. You can't do your the power to process animation and things like that. You cannot do off of a freaking phone.
I could not do my job for a phone.
Exactly.
It's not possible.
It is being forced in that direction. Yeah. And it's just it's a piss poor move. Technology is actually going backwards now.
Yeah.
And I blame it on the way that technology came about, and they have created a generation of stupid. And that generation of stupid is now in a controlling
position.
And they're directing the direction of these companies and what technology we're going to see with stupid. You can't.
It's too much.
I see it everywhere.
Stupid on top of stupid.
I think are you having some sort of anger stroke?
Yes.
Just tear a phone book in half.
It's and for people who think that because Ballmer's going out, there's going to be some sort of change in direction. I hate to break it to you, but Ballmer, as well as Bill Gates, are gonna, as well as some other members on the board, are going to be the people who sort of interview and approve of the next CEO. So they're not going to grab anybody that says, like, you all crashed the company and I want to change it and take it into a different direction. They're going to get people who agree with their direction, or just want to further it.
Do you believe that Bill Gates wanted the direction that it's going in for Microsoft?
No.
The direction it's going in now, do you believe that was Bill Gates' input?
I do
Not
not.
even slightly.
No.
I think that they're going to try and bring Bill Gates back
He's
on
not gonna come
a
back.
quote-unquote temporary basis to replace Ballmer and try and write this.
They're going to pull a Mac with or Apple
so I
where
was
they pull
about to
brought
say.
jobs
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make a movie out of me.
They already did.
God.
All right, enough consoles. Let's talk about something else that's not going to happen. Half-Life 3.
Oh, God.
You know, it's funny. This topic is funny, and it's funny that it made the news here because we just discussed this
Mhm.
two episodes ago or last episode. We just discussed it and why it'd be a bad idea to make it and why it's not going anywhere.
People need to let this go.
Yeah.
They need to just let it go now.
I mean,
Think
it
of
doesn't
it-
help when 3 people show up in Half-Life 3 shirts and wander around a convention, but yeah, you just gotta let it go. You just it's over. It's done. Just let it go.
Yeah. Well, what'll happen is they'll start developing it. Next thing you know, it'll be leaked, and then they'll have to start all over again. Didn't that happen once with one of their games?
Yeah,
Wasn't that Half-Life?
It
or
was
something?
it
That
was
was Half-Life
Half-Life 2, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, apparently that's something similar that's happening to Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 files, they say, may have been leaked online.
Leaked.
Yeah. The PS3
Giant
version
quotation marks.
became available as a preload on the PlayStation Network, and so people started downloading it and then ripping it, and then
Well, see, that's what I find weird because they haven't even announced a release date for this game yet. So why the fuck are people preloading it?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Like that makes no. I don't think that's true in any way.
okay.
I think that is possibly it leaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why? If they're still essentially deciding on what, they haven't even said what like version of the consoles it's coming for yet. I don't think. And yeah, it's preloaded and it's got the right.
I don't know. Good point.
Like this game isn't even finished, and yet people are preloading it. No.
They haven't had a release date, have they?
No. So how are people preloading it?
Well, this is a preload theme that you're looking at right now. I don't know
That's
what that
the
means.
preload theme.
Oh, it's a PlayStation theme.
Yeah, but it's a preload theme. Preloading what?
I don't
The theme.
understand.
Or this
You
is
can
the
get
theme to
PlayStation
preload the
themes.
game when they offer preloads for the.
For your preload, yeah, you preload with the preload, and then you preload this preload. Get that preload.
I don't know.
It could be a theme because I know that the PlayStation 2 will let you have themes. You can have like a Call of Duty theme, and it's like the background change and all your
So
icons.
maybe
look
that's
like
what they're
Call of
talking
Duty.
about. Okay.
That could be it, but then how did files leak in just what?
In a theme. That could have been just made up by someone in their basement.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's also other stuff going on. They're letting you know why Grand Theft Auto 5 was judged the way it was. In other words, what kind of rating it has, and how it goes on to talk about how there's lots of exposed penises and marijuana use and bad words going on.
It's Grand Theft Auto. Who's
little
not
necrophilia.
expecting these things?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like people don't seem to realize that this game is not for children.
Yeah.
For
Seriously,
tell grandma.
like
Yeah.
it's like they go mental. Oh, there's bad language in it, and there's drug use, and there's like inappropriate Well, then don't allow your children to play it.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard.
At no
If you're
point.
allowing your kids to play it, it's your fault, not the people that made the game. It's the
Yeah.
same if you let them watch like a Saw movie and then they get scared. You can't blame the movie or the people that made it or even the people that are in it. It's your fault for letting them watch it.
Yeah. At this point, it should be, well, I don't want to say it should be common knowledge, but it should be well known enough that Rockstar doesn't make games for like a big age range. Sort of their age range starts at like 17 and goes up from there. It's not like a game that can be played by a child.
Yeah, but parents don't
adult.
take the time to do this research. They don't go, oh, my kid wants this game, let me just jump onto here and just have a quick read about it. They just go and buy it because they're stupid.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens when you let the Xbox One, raise your child, since they can talk to it now. And they can talk to it.
They can talk to it now. You don't even have to talk to your children now. You just leave them in the other room.
Yeah, it'll watch them.
Because you can order pizza on the Xbox now, can't you? So now you don't even have to feed them. You just throw a credit card. Here you go. Just you. I'll see you in 2 weeks while I'm off to Malaga. Bye.
Yeah, so I guess the Kinect Babysitter app is going to come out.
The NSA will be at your door.
It's just ridiculous. Like, people go crazy and it's like Grand Theft Auto again. It's correct. No, it's the same in the UK where they're talking about passing a law that your ISP you will have to opt in if you want to watch essentially porn on your internet in the UK. It's going to be mandatory that you opt in. So by default, you're not going to be able to view any adult-rated sites. You're going to have to go to your ISP and say, yes, I would like to opt in. And the reasoning behind it is to
Breesy's like, fuck.
I'm stockpiling. I'm stockpiling.
I actually, when I read this article, I made a joke with my roommate that we should become like the sort of the black market of internet porn from Canada, but like ship it all back. We can make millions, but no, and the reason behind it is it's to protect children, and it's no. Why don't you just not allow your children to be on the internet?
Yeah,
it's just
then
ridiculous.
they'll be that kid at school that gets beat up because they're not allowed on the internet.
Not on the internet.
you have to go to the ISP to say, yes, I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
basically.
Yeah.
You have to ask
what?
permission.
Yeah.
And for porn, I'm willing to do that.
And the stupid. Well, then it adds the thing of now, do you get charged an extra fee for opting in?
Oh, that might happen. Oh, yeah.
Extra for porn, the porn stream.
Yeah,
Because they know you're going to be
Porn stream,
downloading
and
a lot more.
yeah, well, yeah, and then you're on like you're on some sort of like porn list. Like, this guy
Yeah.
opted in.
So
Put a red star on his house number.
Yeah.
if you go further and you dig a little bit further about those articles, because I thought it was just absolutely crazy as well, it turns out that it's not just porn, it's like other stuff, like other
adult.
topics.
Yeah, it's anything that they deem adult rated. So that's anything from like movies to pretty much anything that's got an adult.
It
You can
makes
have
no
to opt
sense,
in.
right? Because they're already moaning about all the teens getting pregnant. If you take away the one thing that stops randy teenage boys going out and girls getting pregnant, they're making it worse. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear that conversation pop up in the courts or wherever it is.
Well, where else was I supposed to put it?
In front of Senate.
Where else was I supposed to put it? That audio clip needs to be isolated.
But it's just unbelievably ridiculous. It's like it's getting to the point where I'm fairly sure it's gonna hit video games and it's gonna hit other things where now you have to essentially ask for permission to be an adult, and you're gonna have to provide proof that you're an adult. It's
That's
unbelievable.
Exactly how I feel. Yeah.
It's taxing essentially people that just want to live their lives and do what they want because other people are fucking idiots and blame it on stuff. It's like going out, becoming like addicted to heroin and then blaming like your next door neighbor because you walked in on him once. Hey, it's his fault. It's like, what are you talking about? Ridiculous. And I don't even live in the UK anymore, so it doesn't even affect me.
But
Okay.
Video games, I have an imagination, so it doesn't affect me either.
That is something I would like to opt out of.
All right.
Sorry, there's no kind of clause for that.
Yeah, think of the sheep in Wales. That's all I'm going. That's as far as I go.
Won't someone think of the sheep? And all the Welsh are like, "Oh, we are."
Cattle rustling. The cattle rustling industry will explode.
All right. The next topic. The next topic. I actually didn't put into my notes to talk about. So, but I happen to know it's there. Far Cry game remake. So I'll just go from memory here. There's a Far Cry game remake. They took Far Cry 3 and they remade Far Cry 1 inside of it, right? It was Far Cry 1 they made in there? Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah,
so what you have is the latest engine with the old maps if you wanted to fool around with that. This is over on ModDB if you want to take a look at a mod that was made, and a couple of people say it's looking pretty good. I don't know.
if it's a faithful recreation, I'd be totally down to play it. Of course, I need to wait till Far Cry goes on sale, Far Cry 3. But
I have it, and I played like 2 hours of it, and I just couldn't get into it. It was just I don't know. I'm
played it quite.
I'm sure there's just nothing wrong with it, but it's like Skyrim for me.
It's boring,
just,
right?
Well,
That's
it's not
what it
that
was.
it's boring. It's just too. It's almost too open.
Okay. To me,
It's almost the world
I
is
can
so
understand
open that I just get lost. Essentially, like not lost in terms of I don't know where I am on the map, but just lost in terms of I don't know what to do next because it's like 100 things.
yeah, I sort of dislike that. But other people love it.
All right, enough of that.
So
Moving on to the other another one here, Elder Scrolls Online. We brought that up before, that Elder Scrolls Online is about to come out, but I don't think we talked about how there is now an announcement that there's going to be a subscription fee that goes with it.
So the one thing we said would kill it, they went and did.
Yep,
And
they're gonna do it.
So I've been collecting my thoughts about this for a bit, and I'm just going to sort of sum it up briefly to say this. When the Elder Scrolls Online was first announced, the fans of the Elder Scrolls series said, "Hey, what are you all doing? This is not what we wanted. We just wanted like a Skyrim or an Oblivion with multiple people, like a co-op or something like that. Maybe a few people at most. We did not want an MMO." And Bethesda said, "No, you all didn't want an MMO, so we're going to make it." And people were like, "Okay, all right, fine. We've got a feeling this is not going to work out, though." And then we saw screenshots, some of the first screenshots, and people said, "Well, this looks not very inspired," and this pretty much sort of confirms what we said, that this is not going to turn out well for you all. And they said, "No, this is fine. This is just early work." And then we saw some leaked videos of some of the beta testers, and it showed a pretty crappy, like just shitty, uninspired game.
Yeah.
And we kind of didn't see a response. It just sort of fell silent, and we didn't hear anything after that. And then now we have the sort of official presentation that took place at QuakeCon, and it revealed that it was a pretty shitty looking, uninspired game, and they didn't say anything about the subscription model or payment model. And people at that point, people pretty much were dead on. Like, this looks pretty shitty. This is gonna fail. Definitely if it's subscription based, and it's sort of up in the air whether or not it's going to succeed, even if it's free to play, because of how sort of samey it looks. And then they go on and decide to charge you for the box, charge you a subscription fee, and the excuse was that we didn't want to pay gate anything. We didn't want to nickel and dime players, so we wanted to have them give them access to everything. So we're going to charge them $15 a month in this sort of landscape of MMOs that are dropping their subscription models or starting without subscription models altogether, because they realize that it's a tough pill to swallow. People are just not with it anymore. They don't feel that things are worth it. So now you've got the shitty looking game that looks worse if not the same as everything else that's already out there for free.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, an article I read just a few days ago, it turns out that they actually are adding a microtransactions real cash shop within the game. So they said that they didn't want to nickel and dime people, and so they want to charge a flat subscription rate. But now they're actually putting in a real cash shop in game, which is the whole purpose is to nickel and dime people. And I've read some things that people are now starting to sort of say that, you know what, they probably know this on purpose. They know the game is going to fail, so they're charging a subscription fee to reap in as much money as they can before they are forced to go to free to play. And I think it's a great argument if you look at everything. So that's all I've got to say.
That's it.
Definitely going to be seeing that review on the back of the box.
Ham says no.
No, I agree though. It's
Yeah.
We kind of essentially predicted it on the show. It was kind of like, you know, I bet you this is what they do, and I feel like they're almost preying on the fact that people enjoyed Skyrim so much. Like it's almost like, hey, you love this, come play this. It's going to be nowhere near as good, but we'll charge you some money, make a bit of money off you first, and then we don't really care after that.
Yeah.
What position does that put them in for their next game now? If people do fall into this trap and go, oh, I get it, they're going to be well pissed off. So when the next Skyrim comes along, they're not going to buy it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Star Wars and EA and the Star Wars game. When it came out as an MMO, all the Star Wars fans were like, "Hey, this is awesome! This is awesome." However, there was not a justification for that for the monthly fee, and they alienated their consumer base because there was so much discontent regarding that.
Well,
and then when they went,
sorry, I just said the fee was worth it for the first couple of weeks of playing the game.
You know what? I would say the fee was justifiable for the first 2 months. After that,
yeah,
there was
and
no
after that, it just exactly.
Yeah, there was no content to justify that fee, and that is where it got poor. And then they went to a half fee, and then they went to no fee with a crippled game or a full fee if you want a non-crippled game. They have successfully killed a very potentially successful IP by doing that.
Well, they've got 3 layers now. Or 3 tiers, should I say, of play.
You can go free,
completely free. The people that actually just bought the box.
Yeah.
So like us, because we bought the game originally, we're not paying the subscription fee, but we get a little bit more on the top because we bought the box. Well, we bought digital editions, but you get my point. And then there's the people that are paying the subscription fee, which essentially gets you everything you used to get if you played that game before, like we did.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a good idea, but when you think about it, you've alienated your player base into 3 categories: free people that actually bought the box and paid for the game, and then people on top of that are paying the fee. And it's kind of like it's created this like elitist thing. It's like, I bought the game and I pay the fee, so I get better stuff than you.
Yeah, and that's essentially what it is. Like you got one of the things, for example, is if you pay the monthly fee, you can have infinite amount of gold or whatever it was. I can't remember the currency there, but you could buy and sell things and end up getting your currency to get better things. If you you bought the box and you're a non-subscriber, you only get to have X amount of gold. So things can get priced out of your purchase range, so you're playing crippled.
Yeah, which I looked into it, and it is. There is stuff on there that you can't buy because it'd be like, I don't know, 2 million credits. But your max for your not a subscription is like 500,000 or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
like I can't buy this because I don't want to pay, or not that I don't want to pay. It's that I haven't paid essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've seen it before, and I guess most recently saw it with Star Wars. Is that you can't sell a shitty game based on a famous franchise. You diminish the franchise and you piss people off. That's the end result.
That wasn't wasn't the problem with Star Wars though, because that game was great for like 2 months. It was awesome.
And
it was
then,
like
if there was no fee involved with it, I probably would still be playing it. But they segregated it. They made it so that the fee was not worth it. I had to pay for the game, and I had to pay for it twice, blah blah blah, or more than that. And there was no content being released. Guild Wars 2, however, is fine. You pay for the game. If you want to put more money into it, you can, but it's not mandatory, and there is no caps to what you can do once you buy the box.
That's the difference.
Right.
It's a huge difference.
The problem Star Wars ran into as well is they shot themselves in the foot in terms of, and this sounds just ludicrous, but they did such a good job at making the cutscenes and all that content, because it was all voice acted, and voice acted well as well, which is, there was no, I don't even recall one line, and it was animated well, and it looked good, so they shot themselves in the foot, because once people got to the end of that, it was like another 4 or 5 months before they got any content out. Because quality takes time, and it's like they kind of killed their own game because they screwed themselves over because they didn't have enough time.
And
it sounds ridiculous because like it's almost saying like you shouldn't make things as good when you develop your game, but
well, I think you should develop a pipeline that enables you to produce content in a timely manner, especially if you're asking people to continue to subscribe. Yeah. It's magazines are sort of set up, and there's a certain length every month for a reason, and that's because so they can get the magazine out. And essentially, you're almost doing the same thing. It's just in this case, it's sort of interactive, and you want people to be able to experience new stuff, decent content, but in a timely manner. And I think you're right. They shot themselves in the foot because they had all this quality stuff, but it wasn't made in a way such that they could continue to make quality stuff and release it at the rate people wanted it.
Well, the bigger problem, it's not that they shot themselves in the foot like that. They did not look forward enough. They said, you know what, this is what your fee is going to get you. This is what your monthly fee is paying for, all these updates. Okay, you know what, it's justifiable then. However, 6 months in, they'd still not released any sort of content. They released 2, we'll call them dungeons, but they released 2 dungeons, and that was it. There was no new story content. There was nothing. So it was poorly done all around.
So I believe they have new story content now, but I mean,
it's too late.
Over a year. Yeah, exactly. Like we're over a year past when they said that was going to be released, and it's just, they should have spaced it out more. I don't really play Guild Wars, but they seem to have nailed it in terms of keeping people interested enough.
Yeah,
but not
they're releasing new story
development
content every
time.
2 weeks in Guild Wars 2. So every 2 weeks there is new story content released.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it helps. Well, then it was BioWare, so I was going to say it helps to have a team of writers and stuff, but it's BioWare. That's pretty much what they do.
Right.
So that doesn't.
I think Guild Wars 2, it nailed down what I believe to be some great core combat, and that's what keeps it afloat. It's the action there doesn't necessarily feel so much.
I hate freaking that World of Warcraft theme, with the elves, and I hate it. But you can't help but be impressed at the fact of how well they've done with Guild Wars 2.
Yeah. So I liked it.
I liked 1 better.
What I've played of it, and even 1, I enjoyed 1 as well. I think it has some great core combat, and that involved strategy. It involved like sort of lots of trade-offs, but all done in a way that for me it was manageable. It was.
I think what I liked about it was the fact that I hate that kind of that theme of like what I just said, but there was enough in there to make me continue playing it. I think one of the reasons was that the combat actually had strategy to it, so you actually had to dodge. It wasn't just like click buttons, which was probably one of the things that bores the hell out of me more than anything in MMOs, is you just seem to press the same 3 buttons. There was that, and there was the way they've done co-op in that is very precise. It's very well executed in terms of it's pretty easy to find your friends and just jump in and start doing stuff. Whereas, example Star Wars kind of, particularly at the very beginning, where they don't let you off your planet to like level 10. It's kind of like, I just want to play with friends, and I don't want to have to run around here for 2 hours doing this. But
all right. So, we have another one here. This week we got our hands on a what would you call it? A review copy?
Friends over at NVIDIA. Give us a review copy.
A review copy of the Splinter Cell game. Right, that's Blacklist that you got the copy of.
Blacklist,
right, and
it came out last week, I think.
No, it's released. I think it released
this week, wasn't it?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've seen people play it.
I think it is out. Yeah, it's
okay,
not
so
that
released last Tuesday.
we didn't get a pre-release copy, but we got a day one copy or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so Welshy had a chance to play it, and we're kind of curious to know what's going on with him. What did you think of it?
Okay, here we go. I'll go kind of about this because I've only managed to play about an hour well, not even an hour actually. There is a reason for this, and I'll go into it, but I'll kind of talk you through my first hour and a half with this game, right? So it takes me best part of 2 days to download this thing. All right, my internet connection's not great, but for some reason that Uplay store is even slower than Steam.
Yeah,
like it's horrible. And my internet connection's not great, but it's not that bad. So that was kind of a little annoyance, but whatever. I went around and did other things, and fine. So, okay, install it. I run it once, just to check that it works, and then because I have to go out, so I just run it. I turn it off, go out, come back. Okay, all right, let's sit down and think, let's play some of this. I run the game, and nothing happens. Just doesn't run, the program doesn't start. I just sit there and watch it, and it gives me the message that, thanks for... I start up, it says launching, blah, 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 it gives me a thing, and then it just goes, thanks for playing Splinter Cell Blacklist. Here's your session time, and it gives you like stats on how long you will play. And I'm like, I didn't play. So after about an hour of me screwing around with settings and trying to figure out what's what, I realized that there's a little notification under the thanks for playing thing that says, have you downloaded the latest patch for this game? And not even like you need to download this, just a generic image at the bottom that says like the patch, day 1 patch is out. And I'm just like, really? So I think, okay, I'll download the patch. It may make the game work for a start. So, essentially the game is broken until I download this patch. So I go download this patch. It's 1.7 gig.
Yes, time to go out and do something again.
Nice.
That is absolutely disgusting. That's a day, and they're calling it literally says day 1 patch. If that happened, I know Breesy saw my little tweet on this, but you need to fire your QA department. Because if you have to release almost a 2 gig file to fix your game on day 1, they didn't do anything for 6 months. They are sitting around in the office not doing anything.
That's an absolutely great point.
So anyway, download this patch, finally get it installed, and yep, the game works straight away. So I jump into it, and it's really interesting because it reminds me of Mass Effect so much. I don't mean in terms of like the sci-fi theme, there's no aliens, but for anyone that's played Mass Effect, you'll know that the kind of main hub of the game is your ship. You can wonder about your ship, you can talk to people in the ship. When you want to do missions, you go to kind of the star map, at the front. You can talk to your pilot, you can have conversations with people, and that's exactly what this game is like. But it's in a C-130.
Okay.
So you can wonder about your C-130. There's like your mission control area, and you can talk to people there, and they have side missions for you, which is kind of cool. I thought that was a little extra thing they didn't need to do. And then you got a big like map board digital map board in the middle of the room, which you do your main missions from. So that was fun. I kind of like that. It's very like they saw Mass Effect and thought that's a really good idea. Let's do that. and you can talk to people throughout the plane. And in terms of actual gameplay, I played maybe a half hour or so. It's very clunky. I was playing with an Xbox controller because it's a third-person stealth game. I can't play that with the keyboard and mouse. I haven't actually even tried. I might actually try that today and see what it's like. One of the things that kind of bugs me is it's got a cover system. So you press a button and you snap to a wall, and he ducks down. But it's very, very easy to come out of that cover. What I mean by that is I can be crouched against a wall like this if I kind of do this, and I use the left stick to move up and down the cover. So I want to see out this side, I move this way to see around this corner. Or I want to go this way, but there's almost no block, like invisible block, to stop me from accidentally coming out of that cover. So the amount of times I got shot and killed or seen because I went to the edge of a cover thinking I could go around it. So like it's a imagine an L shape. Yeah, his gut was sticking out in some way. There's literally no kind of invisible clip to keep me from accidentally walking out the edge of the cover. So it's like I snap to it, but then I'm not. So I walk down to go around something, but what I end up doing is not going around something. I just go out. Mm-hmm. It's like oh hi guys. You didn't see anything, and then to give it a fair review, I don't think I've played enough of it yet to kind of get properly into it.
Mm-hmm. But you sound interested in trying some more, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, I have to give it the credit that it didn't instantly make me, even though I had to download a huge patch and all this shit that I had to go through. It's like it hasn't made me not want to play it yet. So I think it's very interesting. I like the fact it's a bit sad that they've just kind of copied Mass Effect in the way that. But technically, there's nothing wrong with that. It's I kind of like the fact that I get like a little plane to wander about between missions, and you can go to the armory and set up all your gear and stuff. It kind of makes you. I feel like it. What's the word I want? Pulls you into the game a lot more. It makes you feel like you're actually a Black Ops guy. You can customize your gear. You can switch out your weapons. You can decide on what armor. It's like anyone that's played Mass Effect, you'll know exactly what I mean because it's identical. You
so
go and you have like
sneaking around all the corners at work.
Yeah. Climbing up through the ceiling tiles. I'm in the roof. It's. Yeah, I do want to play more. I only got to play maybe half an hour, and I didn't play the actual main story. I just did one of the side co-op missions, that's the other thing. It has co-op. There are some missions that you can actually decide whether you want to play it solo or there's an option to play it co-op. As far as I know, co-op is like find a online, matchmaking friend or join on a friend or invite a friend. I haven't got any friends, so I wouldn't know. But I thought it was a nice little inclusion that there's like extra missions and you earn cash to buy upgrades for your plane, and those upgrades are things like you can have more weapons, you can buy more weapons in the armory, or certain things allow you to do other missions, and it seems very interesting. I'm interested. That's I guess what the point I'm getting to. I don't think I've had enough time with it yet to kind of be like, no, this is awful, because I may run into something that just I hate. It's on the Unreal Engine, which is probably even more why it reminds me of Mass Effect. It looks pretty decent visually. I mean, there was some weirdness, and I find the controls a little bit clunky, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, I'm not hating it yet. And that's, I guess, my review for now.
All right.
Praise.
Yeah, praise. As far as my reviews go, that's a pretty good review.
Yeah, I'm not hating it yet.
Hating it yet.
So that scores 3 magenta gears.
Yeah.
And a taupe, half a taupe. 3 magenta and a half a taupe.
It's at the point where I don't want to frisbee out of my window yet, so look flat on the back of the box. I don't hate it yet. Welshy.
All right. Pretty good review. we're going to wrap up the show now, but I want to ask the audience, if there's something that you want to know more about these games that we're about to see over in PAX, Penny Arcade, PAX Prime in Seattle this coming week, let us know. Send an email over to Mailbag. Send us a tweet on Twitter. Just get in touch with us, and we'll probably make an effort to answer that specific question.
Yeah, or if you are in Seattle at PAX and want to meet up with us or anything like that, or
we'll have a beer together.
Yeah.
Tweet
us. We shall be.
Yep. Let's go like this and put the Twitter things in here.
Twitter things. Yep. Twitter paged.
Yeah, so I'm assuming there'll be 70,000 plus people there. That's what we had a couple years ago. So it should be about the same. It should be giant. I don't know how many tickets they were selling to actually give you a better idea.
You will have a good time at that.
Yeah, we'll be here sulking.
We'll be here sulking. I'll be stocking up on internet porn.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
I'll be stocking up on it. The sales in external hard drives are going to go through the roof.
The great
porn
famine.
10% off.
It's just going to be people are going to be renting fireproof boxes in storage facilities just to store
all VHS machines and 1980s porn is going to be making a huge comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up before we wrap it up? Yeah, I knew it. Go on.
Sorry. Sorry. Well, I was just gonna say that I read some stuff that Call of Duty Ghost is supposed to be having dedicated servers now, but as far as we know, it's not dedicated server files, which means it's going to be rented servers, and I think we should start calling them rented servers, not dedicated servers, if they're going to pull this kind of stunt.
I think it's funny about that is the fact that now that's a selling point. That's a marketing thing. Yes, we've got dedicated servers. Okay.
I made it a point not to comment in that thread when it was posted. Dedicated server just means that they are going to be providing you servers to rent dedicated, but that's going to be another revenue stream for Infinity Ward or Activision, whatever. You're not going to get it from a server rental company, and you're not going to be able to modify the game in any way, shape, or form, because in the same instance they had dedicated servers with Modern Warfare 3.
Yes.
Yeah. So
and they were orchestrated the same way. No mods.
I'm sorry.
What's that?
I said, look what he's done now, Ham. Yeah. You got him all riled up again.
We were just gonna get him off to sleep, and now look at him.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that you've got no controllability, no policing. You cannot change anything about your server other than perhaps map rotation.
Yeah. You can put the name on. Don't forget that. You can have your name, your clan name. Not in color though. Let's not go too far.
So I just want to put that on people's minds before we left, that this is what we're coming to, and we should not stand for it.
Oh, I don't care. It's Call of Duty. I just couldn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that we joke about it, but I just really don't care.
Okay. He doesn't care.
It's become such a ridiculous thing that it's I'm not surprised by any announcement they come up with anymore, because it's I just expect
shit.
Subpar marketing gimmicks is just what I expect out of that franchise now. And even using the word franchise kind of bothers me, in the fact that it's not a game anymore, it's a franchise.
That's all I expect from any game anymore.
Yeah.
Any game I hear stuff, it's just it's just the same stuff.
Any game that offers you the opportunity to buy something more than just the game should be a warning flag that the game is shit and they're trying to cover it with something.
Gone are the days. Every single game that comes out.
Gone are the days where you could pre-order something and get a cool statue just because you're a fan of that game, and the game would stand alone without that statue. Now, unless it's got a hovercraft and a M50 sniper rifle.
That doesn't have any recoil and basically has aimbot on it. You don't even have to aim. You just kind of point and
yeah.
I really have lost my will to live with some of these.
That you're not allowed to drink out. Yeah.
It's we joke about it, but it's just a shocking state of affairs.
So I'm calling on everybody to seek out those games that don't manipulate people, and let's find some good things that make it worthwhile all over again.
Whack a hole.
Yes, like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll call it the end. All right. I want to thank.
Now you've mentioned it, I got no idea.
I want to thank our hosts for taking the time out to chat. Breesy, thank you very much for joining us today.
No problem.
Ham, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Stryder, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's always an adventure.
Welshy, thank you for joining us.
I didn't crash. Woohoo!
You didn't crash. And as a reminder, we will not be here next week live, but we will be here the week after talking about all the stuff we learned in PAX Prime. And finally, I want to thank you, the fans of MODSonair.com and the subscribing members of MODSonline.com, because you make the show possible, and we will be back in 2 weeks. All right. Take care. Happy Labor Day. Thanks for watching this week, and come back next week when we will broadcast another live show. Details for this and all past episodes can be found at MODSonair.com. We welcome your feedback via email at mailbag@MODSonair.com. And please consider subscribing to MODSonline.com to support our show. The opinions expressed by individuals on this program are not necessarily the opinions of our sponsors, owners, or partners. And I don't know.
This is 29 Acacia Road, and this is Eric, the schoolboy who leads an amazing double life. But when Eric eats a banana, an amazing transformation occurs. Eric is Banana Man, ever alert for the call to action.
This was huge. They had like comic books and seriously, I'm not making this up. They're like the comic books, and there was action figures, and there was obviously the TV show.
Banana Man. Do, do, do. Banana Man.
Yeah.
And that's where the recording stops.